not on the alternative mode of the requirement that is being set by Section 8 of Republic Act 9511.
Mr. Chairman, I think we should allow the focus of this inquiry, the NGCP, to fully explain. Because once there was the decision that they are going to have IPO, Section 8 provides an alternative remedy. That's the second proviso, which I read.
Sir,
Provided that the listing in the PSA of any company which directly or indirectly owns. So can we allow the NGCP to finish? Because if we keep on interjecting, we don't have the whole defense of the NGCP.
Mr. Chairman,
so I'm asking that, Mr.
Chairman,
Kasi so many times,
I'm questioning the resource person. And I'm satisfied already with the answer that she was manifesting. Okay na sa akin yun, Mr. Chairman, basta sumagot siya ng,
Okay.
ng
Mr. Chair,
tinatanong
the
ko.
Honorable Rufus,
1 minute
this is the
suspension.
time of the Honorable Dan Fernandez. So now we proceed, Honorable Rufus Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could we have the slide on the delayed project, especially Visayas and Mindanao? Can we have the slide here? The next slide, please. The next one. That's it. Go lower, because that is where my island belongs. Where I belong to that island of Mindanao. Okay? Delays about Visayas, Mindanao.
Mindanao.
The last one, huh? Okay. Yes, it is way down. Okay, so anyway, can we put that up? Yeah. No, I want everybody to see the last item because it is
Yes.
covered by the tables and chairs. For everybody. Yeah.
We cannot move it
so,
fixed.
Okay, so Mindanao has been interconnected with the Visayas last January 2024. My constituents, Cagayan de Oro City, 2nd District, would thank the NGCP for finally connecting Mindanao to the Visayas and to Luzon. Why? Because if we need more energy from Luzon, Visayas, they can give to us. And if we have an excess capacity in Mindanao, we can help Visayas and Luzon. There is a 5-year delay. I know this because of right-of-way problems. First right-of-way that I encountered, the Cebu Golf Club filed a case in the Supreme Court to stop the NGCP from putting lines to Cebu that will go ultimately to Lanao del Norte and then to Cagayan de Oro. And I said, and I was able to come to the press and state, is golf more important than the needs of Mindanao? Everybody scrambled, including Secretary Frasco, calling me and saying, we will ask the golf club to manifest in the Supreme Court that they should now agree and not to stop it. Because if we stop because of the golf course, then certainly our priorities are not in the right places. And indeed, it took about 8 months to be able to proceed with NGCP's lines of transmission going through Cebu and then going to the island of Negros and then going to Lanao del Norte. That's the first one, Mr. Chairman. You know why I know this? Because I am one of the foremost proponents for the interconnection of Mindanao to the rest of the grid. Visayas already has interconnection with Luzon. But why Mindanao is not yet in? Even during the time of President Pinoy, he was in Iligan City. I spoke there that President Pinoy already support the NGCP to make sure that we interconnect Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So now it's interconnected. And so now there will be many more power generation companies that will come to Mindanao because if we have excess, they can sell it, especially Luzon, who has a very tight supply on energy. Next, Mr. Chairman, and that is why we cannot blame NGCP for the delay, at least for the Visayas, Mindanao interconnection. The next problem is Lanao del Norte. Right of way, you cannot just, you cannot just be able to dig and put your transmission lines there because, or put posts there because our Muslim brothers in Lanao del Norte will object. And in fact, they have objected. So what did we do? We were able to talk to the governor and the congressman of Lanao del Norte. It took so much time also because they had to talk with the owners of the properties. And so to be able to just point, Secretary Green, my former colleague, to state that it's 5 years delay and we should penalize them and to the ERC to increase the penalties. We have to look at the reasons. And in fact, if we see the reasons for delay, the right-of-ways that could not be immediately be secured, it stops the project. And so that is why, Attorney Mayari, we thank you. Because Mindanao is now interconnected to Visayas and Mindanao. There are more companies that are putting up power generation plants in Mindanao because they can now sell to Luzon and the Visayas if they have excess capacity. And right now, I tell you, because of the development of Mindanao, brought about by President Bongbong Marcos, nakapasok na. So, we expect, if you will see the NEDA report, Region 11 followed by Region 10, there's a lot of companies going there, and therefore there will be a need for more watts and more power companies. And so we cannot, my dear colleague Sharon, who has been, with us, presentations like this looks like, NGCP has not done its job. But let me tell you that based on my personal experience, at least these two right-of-ways problem easily would cause the delay. So what I'm saying here, Mr. Chairman, is let us look at the reasons for the delay. Because NGCP would want to connect all of these grids and all of our consumers because it is for the best interest of their company. They will be able to charge more. And so those are my experiences, and that's why I am here to state that NGCP, as far as Mindanao is concerned, has interconnected us, and we are now doing well in terms of our electricity provisions, our electricity supply, and we are assured that the thing that happened in 1997-98 will not happen again to Mindanao. And therefore, this is one way that we are saying that there is a reason why there is some delay. And to us, are we trying to dissolve the 50-year franchise of the NGCP? Is that the reason, Mr. Chairman? The BIR, in the hearing of the Ways and Means, clearly stated, NGCP has paid all the tax liabilities of the company by Mr. Romeo Lumagi, the BIR chief. ARC chairman has stated, is that correct, Madam Chair Di Malanta, that you said that there has been a compliance of the tax responsibilities of NGCP?
Mr. Chair, in another hearing po, we confirmed that what we have seen from our records is compliance with the 3% franchise tax.
Precisely, that was the issue. NGCP has complied. BIR has complied. Now, why are we here? Why are we going to, try to make it, make the NGCP look bad? Let us hear them, Mr. Chairman. And that is why, Mr. Chairman, you already have the list. And those are the issues. I counted a dozen issues. What you asked them were to submit papers, but let them answer. The ones that you mentioned in the early part of this hearing, the issue of the Chinese controlling NGCP. What is their answer? I'd like to have that. The share agreement. What is the share agreement clear? That really, there is an agreement that the Chinese will control because I'm always against the Chinese, especially in the West Philippine Sea, and we don't want them to control the NGCP and transmission in this country. So I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, that the position paper on these issues, you have listed a dozen issues. Let them answer directly. Submission of documents is okay. But then these are specific issues, and I appreciate the committee in the December 23 hearing that we have identified these issues, and let them submit a position paper to all of us so that we can see, because if there is a violation of that, I'll be the first one to move and file a bill to cancel the NGCP. Just when I filed a bill to suspend the franchise of Cebu Pacific because we were delayed for one day from Cagayan de Oro. And that caused them to really improve. Before, they had only 2 standby planes, Pacific. Now they have 5 because I filed this particular bill to suspend. There has to be, motu proprio, Mr. Chairman, we can do it. But there has to be clear violations that is clear because under our Constitution, everybody, there should be no deprivation of life, liberty, or property, Article 2, Section 2, without due process of law. And NGCP has property intangible, which is the 50-year franchise. And so therefore, Mr. Chairman, I have said my piece. And so just to answer the report of our dear colleague, Sharon Garin, but let me tell you, us in Mindanao are enjoying the interconnection, delayed, better late than never. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez. So the Honorable Dan Fernandez is recognized. Silence, President.
Okay, maraming salamat po, Mr. Chairman. And the very reason why we are here right now ay yung sinabi ni Congressman Presley is talagang maibaba yung presyo ng transmission rate. And that's the reason why we've been fighting this for so many years. As a matter of fact, noong 2019 pa, pinaglalaban na po natin itong reset na kung saan ay 2011 ang last recorded na rate reset. And it's been like 13 years. Hanggang ngayon, wala pa po. And that's the reason why we're asking why. Di ba, bakit hindi nagkakaroon ng panibagong set ng rates para sa transmission? And kung mapapababa natin ang lahat ng mga building blocks that the ERC is now evaluating through the RAAC and the NCL, like the the return on capital, the capex, the opening ROB, the regulatory asset base, and even the depreciation on the capital, on the return of capital, at even the operating and maintenance expenses, I'm pretty sure ito pong ating pong hearing na to magkakaroon ng positibong resulta sa pagbaba ng kuryente ng transmission rate ng ating pong bansa. Now, magsimula po muna tayo dito, Mr. Chairman. Ang tatanungin ko po ay ang NGCP regarding doon po sa inyong IPO na in the last hearing, I mentioned about this IPO. Ano po ba yung legal obligation ng NGCP regarding the public offering na binabanggit ng provision ng ating pong batas? Attorney Malyari, you can answer this.
Your Honor, may I open our franchise law? Just give me 3 seconds.
Sure. Simple lang po yun, Attorney Malyari. It's about the franchise law under Section 8. Okay, ako na lang mag-mention, Attorney Malyari. So under Section 8, ang mandato po ng ating pong NGCP is to offer sa public yung ating pong share of stock. At ito po ay within 10 years from the commencement of its operation. At kung ating pong pagbabasihan yung commencement ng inyong pong operation, nagsimula po kayo noong January 15, 2009. At yung pong inyong statutory deadline ay natapos noong January 14, 2019. Ngayon po ay January 14, 6 years ago. Doon po natapos yung inyong pong deadline para po sa tinatawag mo nating pagpasok po ninyo sa IPO na siya pong tinakda ng Section 8 under Republic Act 9511. So ngayon, Attorney Malyari, I will be asking you a question. Why is this public offering requirement was imposed by law? Ano po ba yung sinasabi nating purpose behind it? Bakit tayo minamandato ng public offering?
Your Honor, as to the wisdom of the legislation, it will be this honorable representation that may be able to expound that because it is indeed written in our franchise. So, bakit minamandato na
tayo po ay mag-IPO? Kasi kung titingnan mo po, Attorney Malyari, halos lahat ng mga public utilities, minamandato yan na mag-IPO tayo. I-share natin sa public yung ating pong pag-aari ng ating pong entity dahil public utility to. So, the very rationale of our Constitution under Section 2 of Article 4, Article 12 of the 1987 ay magkaroon ng equity yung ating mga mamayan. To be more transparent, magkaroon tayo ng accountability, and at the same time, yung ownership at yung operation, somehow operation, ay mapapunta sa ating mga babayan. Most especially, ang ating pong transmission, no, is a natural monopoly. Ang ibig sabihin po, ay wala po siyang kakompetensya. And that's the reason why, kung wala siyang kakompetensya, kailangan siya ng partisipasyon ng ating pong mga kababayan. Now, I will be asking you again, Attorney Malyari, are there entities in the energy sector or elsewhere na masasabi natin that the public offering is also being provided? Meron po ba kayong alam that yung mga public utilities are sharing their ownership to the public?
Your Honor, top of my head, I apologize. I am not aware
Sige,
of other public utilities.
Okay,
Top of my
sa
head.
ERC, meron po ba tayo alam na mga public utilities? ERC Commissioner Chairman Nadi Malanta?
Yes, Mr. Chair. In fact, the EPIRA requires, under its current form, EPIRA requires generation companies, distribution utilities, as well as for individual franchises, like for telecoms, for example, they have public listing requirement.
Correct. Under Republic Act 79-25, yung ating pong mga public telecommunications mandates na to offer at least 30% sa IPO. At ito pong ating may nilad nung ating pong inaprubahan ng kanilang renewal ng kanilang concession agreement, pumasok din po yung kanilang IPO. And even the Manila Water, ito po yung sinasabi ko in the last hearing, yung pong kanilang mga empleyado, no? Sayang wala si Atty. Cynthia, pero during that time, sa hearing, sinabi ko na ang may nilad, ito pala yun, yung ESOP, Employee Stock Option Plan, na kung saan binigyan nila ng share ang kanilang mga empleyado, which dapat, yun po ang ginawang una ng NGCP kung talagang mahal nila ang kanilang mga employees. Now, tama si Chairman Mona, that under the EPIRA law, yung ating pong Republic Act 9136, 15% doon sa ating mga distribution utilities. And isa pang batas na nagsasabi dito ay Republic Act number 8479. Ito po yung Downstream Oil Industry Deregulation Act of 1998 na inaalaw na mapapunta sa public yung 10% of their common stock. Now, ang tanong ko sa iyo, Attorney Malyari, did NGCP meet the legal requirement for an IPO within 10 years from the grant of its franchise.
Your Honor, I would like to read now that now that I was able to open the Section 8 of NGCP franchise RA 93511. Dispersal of ownership, Mr. Chair, two ways, Mr. Chair. One is to make a public offering of the shares representing at least 20% of the outstanding capital stock or higher percentage that may hereafter be provided by law. And there's another, Mr. Chair, provided that the listing in the PSE of any company which directly or indirectly owns or controls at least 30% of the outstanding shares of stock of the grantee shall be considered full compliance.
Alright, so tatanungin lang kita, Atty. Malyari. Simple lang yung tanong ko. Did NGCP meet the legal requirement for an IPO within the 10 years period that was mentioned in Section 8, Republic Act 9511? Yes or no?
Your Honor, our legal position is yes.
Yes, your
pursuant to
legal
the-
position is yes, correct. Now, noong November 13, 2018, para maintindihan po ng ating mga kasamahan at mga nanonood sa atin, para at least maging klaro po. Kasi dito, ako ipaglalaban ko that you have violated Section 8, Republic Act 9511. But in your contention, in your statement a while ago, you have mentioned that in May 26, 2022, the order of the ERC was that NGCP was compliant with Section 8. But that was in contrast with the decision of the ERC on March 10, 2021, when they rejected your motion for reconsideration when you filed a petition on November 13, 2018. Now, ang tanong ko sa iyo, Atty. Malyari, ano ang final nyo nung November 13, 2018 sa ERC with regards to this listing of share of stock of the NGCP?
Mr. Chair, I am not the counsel that personally
Who is the proper
handled-
person to answer my query?
Mr. Chair, can you just give me one minute, Mr. Chair?
Okay, para padadalhin ko na to. Alam ko naman sagot sa mga tanong ko. I just wanted to find out if you know my questions. Now, November 13, 2018, barely 2 months prior to the statutory deadline that was set by the franchise law that was given to NGCP, nag-file kayo ng petition for the approval of the extension of the period for listing of the shares of stock of the NGCP. Under this petition, ang inyong prayer ay ma-extend po yung period ng listing ng inyong pong shares of stock. Are you familiar with this?
Now that you're mentioning, Mr. Chair, I'm taking your word as is, Mr.
Alright.
Chair.
Now, tanong ko sa commission, ERC. Wala pa si Mona Lisa dito. Siguro tatanungin ko dito ay si Ma'am, Commissioner Maceda. Ma'am, thank you for being here. Ano po naging aksyon ng komisyon on this petition for extension of the listing of shares of stock of NGCP?
If it's the November 2018 motion to extend actually, there was a prayer actually to extend the period for listing of shares of stock of NGCP. The decision of the Commission was adopted March 3, 2020, as you mentioned, Your Honor, and the decision was to deny such motion to extend the period to comply with the public listing requirement.
So, ang kanilang prayer prior to the deadline noong listing ng share of stocks ng NGCP in accordance with Section 8 ay dininay noong March 3, 2020. Am I correct?
I confirm that, Your Honor.
And what are the other directive of the NGCP or of the ERC to the NGCP regarding doon po sa process ng public listing?
Yes, sir. If I may just read the pertinent portion of the order, Your Honor.
Yes, please go ahead.
This is the order dated 3 March 2020 on the public offering requirement. Wherefore, the foregoing premises considered, the petition filed by the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines seeking the Commission's approval of its proposed extension of period to list its shares of stock in compliance with RA 9511 is hereby denied and is directed to comply with the following. Number 1, NGCP is directed to commence immediately the process of public listing pursuant to RA 9511 and to fully comply with the same within 6 months from receipt of the decision. Second, NGCP is hereby directed to submit a compliance report showing its compliance with its public listing obligation within 30 days from the said compliance. So ordered.
So in other
Dated 3
words,
March.
Madam Maceda, there was a directive from the Commission for NGCP to immediately comply with the process of public listing.
I confirm that, Your Honor.
Sila po ba ay nag-submit ng compliance report na binabanggit nyo sa order ninyo? Within 30 days, sinabi po dito, to submit a compliance report.
From my recollection, Your Honor, they submitted a motion for reconsideration, and it was filed within the time frame as provided under our rules.
All right. That I understand. Okay, we will go on that, Madam Maceda. Punta mo muna tayo bago tayo pumunta sa motion for reconsideration. Doon sa petition nila noong November 13, 2018, was there any representation from NGCP that it will be pursuing a share swap transaction as a form of compliance with the public listing requirement under Section 8 of Republic Act 9511? Was there any mention of the share swap? Noong November 2018, 2 months prior to the statutory deadline of January 14, 2019.
There was no mention of that, Your
No
Honor.
mention. Okay. In March 3, 2020,
Your Honor, if I may, Your Honor.
Yes, go ahead.
Just to add, in our deliberations, there was no mention at all of a share swap agreement, but
can you speak louder, please? And Ma'am Mona Lisa, can you kindly turn off your mic, please?
from our discussions, Your Honor, the share swap transaction was never discussed during the deliberations of the Commission. But I've been perusing through the order that was issued, and I note here that from the evidences submitted actually by the applicant, there was an indication that they had abandoned the share swap, no?
I was about to go there. Excuse me, madam. Because I have read all the documents that I gotten in the website of the ERC, and even the partial initial determination and also the draft of final determination. I got all these copies. And it's here with me. And I've read about it. Ma'am, ang tanong ko po, hindi ko alam kung nandun kayo sa hearing. During nung dinidiscuss po itong news report na sinasabi mo, entitled, nung November 17, 2010, by ABS-CBN News entitled, C. Junior Cohuto may raise funds for NGCP via backdoor listing, was among the exhibits submitted by NGCP, and the stated purpose of its submission based on the decision was to prove that the attempt at backdoor listing was abandoned in 2016. So ito po yung minimension nyo, no? That they have the intention to abandon the share swap because there was a due adverse decision from the BIR regarding the tax-free status of the transaction. And as a matter of fact, doon sa Annex G, no? Na nakuha ko rin po doon sa inyo pong documents coming sa website. News report posted on the website of the DOE on March 1, 2016 entitled C. Cohuto Cancel Share Swap Deal for Synergy Grid, also submitted to ng NGCP. May I know? Siguro sa NGCP. May I know, NGCP, what this adverse ruling of the BIR is all about? Kasi nabandon po niyo yung share swap noong 2020 yes.
May I know the year, Your Honor? 2016?
The NGCP attempt the backdoor listing noong 2016. Pero inabandon po nila at pagkatapos po, kinancel na po nila yung share swap. Pero dito po, nakikita po natin na ibinalik natin yung share swap. You abandon the share swapping methodology because here sa submission nyo po sa ERC, you have mentioned the adverse ruling of the BIR. So, ang tinatanong ko po, ano po yung adverse ruling ng BIR about doon po sa tax-free status of this transaction?
Your Honor, I have no information insofar as that one, but given we will provide, Your Honor, we'll look in our files, Your Honor.
Attorney, are you the proper person to be representing NGCP? Kasi kanina ko pa napapansin, lahat paiwas yung tanong sagot nyo
Your Honor, hindi po sa umiikot
Because
na
this is one of the alleged violation that was committed by NGCP. Section 8 of Republic Act 9511, we discussed that in the last hearing. And this issue, we tackled in the last hearing. Mabigat po itong allegation sa inyo. And this may cause your revocation of the franchise of NGCP. Don't you know that?
Your Honor, I am very much aware of the gravity of what we're...
So bakit hindi po kayo nagsama ng mga taong may alam sa sitwasyon ng mga bagay na tinatanong po ng mga members of this committee? Anyway, I hope that next time na po, sana po, mapadala po yung mga tamang tao. ERC, wouldn't you say that it was apparent for this evidence kanina na binanggit po natin that yung pong submitted voluntarily by NGCP, kasi sila po nag-submit nito that they had abandoned the share swap as an alternative to the public listing requirement?
Your Honor, I'm looking at the order of March 3, 2020, and yes, I confirm that there's an enumeration of exhibits or evidences submitted to us, and among them, as you had mentioned earlier, I think that's Annex G and Annex D.
Yes.
Yes, it appears in our order that NGCP submitted that and that there was annotation that the attempt at backdoor listing was abandoned in 2016 due to an adverse BIR ruling regarding the tax-free status of the transaction. I don't recall this being questioned by NGCP in its motion for reconsideration.
So tanong natin sa NGCP with that, kino-confirm mo, NGCP, did you comply with the directives of the Commission on its decision dated March 3, 2020? Na kung saan sinasabi, ano na po tayo, pumasok na po tayo sa IPO. Mag-IPO na tayo dahil lang sinasabi ng Section 8. Nag-comply po ba kayo?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, now that I have here some documentation in order to support what I will be stating now, may I be allowed to make some chronology, Your Honor?
Sige, go ahead.
Apo. Your Honor,
Attorney
13
Malyari,
November.
address the chair, please. Do you have a presentation, or is that just something you're going to read from your cell phone?
Wala pong presentation, Mr. Chair.
Please proceed.
Your Honor, you have mentioned the 13th November 2018. So NGCP filed a petition on 13 November 2018 before the ERC for the approval of the extension of the period for the listing of shares of stock of NGCP.
Correct.
These are the reasons cited, Your Honor. First, there's a pending arbitration case and there's a delayed regulatory reset. Second reason, Your Honor, period provided is merely directory. Third, no implementing rules for Section 8 of RA 9511. And the fourth, the timing of public offering is addressed to the discretion of the Board of Directors in the exercise of sound business judgment. So ang prayer po sa nabanggit niyo po na 13 November 2018, ang prayer po ni NGCP ay 1, approve the extension, and 2, grant an extension of 1 year from 14 January 2019 or upon final resolution of the arbitration case. Ngayon po, tama sila, nagkaroon ng desisyon si ERC noong 03 March 2020. It was issued on 27 April 2020. Dito po, dininay ni ERC ang petition for extension, as Comas Seda has stated, and that, ito po yun, Mr. Chair, NGCP is directed to commence the IPO obligation within 6 months from receipt of the decision.
Correct.
And that NGCP now is directed to submit compliance report within 30 days from compliance of public listing. Dito po sa desisyon na ito, due process, nag-file po si NGCP ng motion for reconsideration dated 19 August 2020. Tapos ngayon po, si ERC, in its order dated 10 March 2021, umabot na po ba tayo dito, Your
Di ba?
Honor?
Wala pa.
Sige.
Nag-advance ka na. Okay. Alright. So, now you confirm, no, that nag-apply kayo 2 months prior to the deadline. And then, nagdesisyon ng ERC, sinabi ng ERC, denied yung extension nyo. So, nakalampas na yung deadline nung inyo pong statutory requirement na sinasabi dapat within 10 years, nag-IPO na kayo. And on January 28, an urgent motion was filed by the NGCP to the Commission nung progress in moving the IPO forward. Nag-file kayo ng urgent motion sa Commission at sinabi nyo, oy, ERC, eto na, magsisimula na kami ng process ng IPO. Correct, attorney? At nung March 10, ayan na, papunta na tayo sa sinasabi mo. On March 10, 2021, yung motion for reconsideration nyo was finally denied by the ERC. At inutusan kayo ng ERC to commence the initiation of the requirement of Section 8, Republic Act 9511. Simulan na po ninyo ang IPO. At within 6 months, you have to report monthly to the ERC nung inyo pong accomplishment. Now, ang tanong ko sa iyo, would you consider this order final and executory that this resolve, the MR filed by the NGCP? Sa tingin mo ba, this is a final and executory? Yes or no?
Your Honor,
Wait, sagutin mo muna, Attorney Malyari. Ang tanong ko ay simple. Nag-file kayo ng petition, prayer for extension, na denied. Tapos according sa rules ng procedure and practices of the ERC, isang beses lang mag-motion for reconsideration. Sabi sa rules will you confirm this, Mona Lisa, that according sa rules of procedure and practices of the ERC, isang beses ka lang mag-motion for reconsideration. Then, you were denied sa motion for reconsideration. Ngayon, ang tanong ko, final na ba yun and executory?
in the same order, Your Honor.
No, wait. I'm asking you. Yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor, and we were
Yo,
given 6 months.
wait, before you explain, let me hear your answer. So I'm asking you, final and executory na po ba yun? Yes or no?
Opo.
Okay, yes. Now you can explain.
And in the same order, okay po. So, tuloy ko
Go ahead.
lang po yung chronology. So, in the ERC order dated 10 March 2021, which was received on 14 March 2021, the ERC denied NGCP's MR of the decision dated 3 March 2020, and that the following are maintained by the ERC in its ruling. Among others, NGCP was given 6 months from receipt of the order instead of the receipt of the 3 March 2020 to complete the public listing process or on before November 10, 2021.
Yes,
At dito
okay.
rin po, in order po kami to submit a compliance report every fifth po of the month for the 6-month compliance.
Alright, thank you. So at least klaro po na binanggit po natin, nagkaroon na ng order na final and executory yung pong desisyon ng March 10, 2021 ng ERC. Now, and it was directing the NGCP to complete its compliance with the IPO requirements until the successful listing thereof. Yun ang sinabi ng ERC eh. At dito, hindi sinabi. It did not say any IPO or any alternative thereto as may be allowed under the law. So ngayon, ang tanong ko sa Commission, what was the basis of the Commission in explicitly requiring an IPO and not just an alternative? Ito sa mga majority who have decided dito, siguro tatanungin ko si Puentes, si Commissioner Puentes. Commissioner Puentes,
Yes, Your Honor.
ano naging basis ninyo? What was the basis of the Commission in explicitly requiring an IPO and not just an alternative thereto? Bakit nyo ni-require ng IPO ang NGCPO? At yun ang sinabi nyo, sabi nyo, walang extension. Oh, motion for reconsideration, denied, final and executory. Tapos sabi nyo, proceed with the IPO within 6 months. Dali ng listing sa ERC. Bakit yung po naging desisyon na require nyo sila ng IPO?
Your Honor, yung
At
sa,
walang ibang alternative. Yun ang desisyon nyo. Walang ibang alternative. Bakit yun ang desisyon nyo?
Your Honor, yung sa IPO naman, nakasad naman yung sa batas. And then there was deliberation wherein this was presented to us and that is why we...
Hindi ang tinatanong
made that
ko,
decision.
Commissioner Puentes, malayo na yung sinasagot mo. Ang tinatanong ko, bakit nyo ni-require sila ng IPO? Kasi dito, sa decision nyo, sa March 10, 2021, nire-require nyo sila na mag-IPO na. At nagkaroon nga sila ng urgent motion on January 28, 2021 eh. Ini-inform ang commission na sinasabi niya, ERC, andito na kami. Nagpo-progress na yung aming nagpo-progress na yung aming IPO. Ha? At as a matter of fact, according sa inyong decision na binasa ko, they have already, ito ang sinabi ng NGCP for your information, take note that the commission acknowledged NGCP's good faith effort to comply with the IPO requirement, citing the following actions. Ito na yung mga ginawa nilang action para sa IPO. Engagement of financial advisor, shortlisting of joint global coordinators, finalization of acquisition of legal counsel, submission of a detailed grant chat with timelines, and commitment to fully onboard external advisors. And additionally, Commissioner Puentes, ito ang inyong inimbestigahang witness na galing mismo sa NGCP, si Mr. Eduardo Francisco, who is an expert siya sa IPO. At sinabi ni Eduardo P. Francisco, who stated that NGCP required more time as the NGCP IPO will be unprecedented in terms of scale. Do you remember this, Commissioner Puentes, Commissioner Digal, Commissioner Lumbatan? Do you remember this?
Reply.
Mr. Chair, Your Honors, if I may be recognized to respond. Yes. For the record.
Recognized. Thank you.
Yes, Chair. I am Commissioner Digal of the ERC po. Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honors, we do remember that we have considered several inputs of consultants then on the public offering of NGCP in deciding whether or not they were compliant.
So, you agree toward the IPO with your March 10, 2021 decision?
I think the wordings in the order referred to public...
Tanong ko sa iyo, Commissioner Digal, you are gearing toward IPO with your decision of March 10, 2021. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
And if I may
Yes,
explain,
go ahead.
because the documents then submitted to our offices and the position or arguments of the NGCP then they were already starting and they have made studies on conducting it.
Correct. And as a matter of fact, tama yung sinabi mo. Ito ang sinabi nyo. Sabi nyo, the March 10, 2021 order of the Commission was also very clear in stating that other activities were included by the BDO Capital to ensure a successful IPO and not merely the listing of such with the PSE. So in other words, ito na nagsisimula na sila ng IPO. Di ba? Noong March 10, 2021. So, ang ibig po sabihin, kung nagsisimula na po sila ng IPO, which you all relied on the statements of the NGCP, ang tanong ko sa NGCP, did the IPO proceed?
Your Honor,
No, sagutin mo muna, Attorney Malyari, did the IPO proceeded?
may interlocutory, Your Honor.
No. Tanongin mo muna, yes or no lang, tapos saka mo explain. Did the IPO proceeded?
The IPO...
Yes or no?
Sorry, Your Honor, I'm trying to make
Yes
a
or
complete
no, then
sentence.
explain.
The
Tuloy
IPO
po ba-
as contemplated
Wait.
under...
Hindi tayo magkakaintindihan hanggang hindi mo muna sinasagot ang aking katanungan. Did the IPO proceeded? Yes or no?
As contemplated in the order, hindi po. And if I may explain.
Hindi.
The answer?
Hindi sa order. Ang tinatanong ko kasi, in-orderan kayo, di ba? Na proceed with the IPO. Kasi nga, nag-ano kayo eh, nag-witness kayo eh. Ang sabi ni Eduardo Francisco, yung inyong expert, nagpo-proceed na po kami sa IPO, nasa initial stage na po kami, and we will be earning or we will have investor like $1 billion coming from the different investor. So ngayon, nandito pa report eh, nabasa ko lahat eh. At ang sinasabi nyo, nasa stage na kayo ng IPO. Ang tinatanong ko, nag-proceed ba kayo sa IPO? Sabi mo, no. Di ba? Then now, explain.
Your Honor, ituloy ko lang po yung chronology. After the ERC order dated 10 March 2021, NGCP now filed a motion for clarification to allow...
Wait. Darating tayo sa motion for clarification. Ang tinatanong ko lang muna, explain mo muna yung... kasi hindi kayo nag-proceed eh, sa IPO. Sabi mo, no, you did not proceed with the IPO. So why? Explain.
Ito na nga po, because we wanted to be clarified whether we can be allowed insofar as the alternative mode under Section 8 of RA 9511. So,
Okay.
ang tanong po nila, Your Honor, is did the IPO proceeded as contemplated under ERC order dated 10 March 2021? Ang response po namin ay, dun nga po sa interim na yon, nag-file po si NGCP ng motion for clarification to allow the alternative mode under Section 8 of 9511, which is, yun nga po yung...
Wait, Attorney Malyari.
Yes po.
What is the motion for clarification all about? If there was a decision by the commission denying your petition, and then you filed a motion for reconsideration, and that was also denied, the motion for clarification should be on the decision of the denial, not on the alternative mode of the requirement that is being set by Section 8 of Republic Act 9511.
Mr. Chairman, I think we should allow the focus of this inquiry, the NGCP, to fully explain. Because once there was a decision that they are going to have IPO, Section 8 provides an alternative remedy. That's the second proviso, which I read.
Sir,
Provided that the listing in the PSA of any company which directly or indirectly owns. So can we allow the NGCP to finish? Because if we keep on interjecting, we don't have the whole defense of the NGCP.
Mr. Chairman,
so I'm asking that,
Mr. Chairman,
kasi so many times,
I'm questioning the resource person, and I'm satisfied already with the answer that she was manifesting. Okay na sa akin yun, Mr. Chairman, basta sumagot siya ng
Okay.
ng
Chair,
tinatanong
The
ko.
Honorable Rufus,
1 minute
this is the
suspension.
time of the Honorable Dan Fernandez. And we will now, I think, NGCP, I understand your sentiments, Honorable Rufus, but I think, we will also have to make sure that the answers are straight to the point, no? I think ang hinihingi ni Kong Dan ay yes or no, tapos magpaliwanag. Yan naman
Mr. Chairman,
ang hinihingi niya.
Mr.
Para
Chair-
ho, mapabilis ho tayo. The Honorable Dan, can you please proceed?
With all due respect
Okay.
with Congressman Rufus, I'm asking direct answer. And then I am letting her to explain. And then
Yes.
I don't know where the good gentleman is coming from na hindi ko inaalaw na magsalita yung ating pong resource person. As a matter of fact, sabi ko, sige, explain. Di ba?
Okay, so this is still the time of the Honorable Dan Fernandez.